Hare Krishna! So, wonderful celebrations are happening. But we're going to talk more about that a little later. But we're very, very happy to see all of you here. That segment will be compared by the youth. But I'm here to inform you that on Monday is the advent of Bhagavad Gita, or Gita Jayanti. And we've been building up to that day the entire week. Different devotees have been speaking on Bhagavad Gita, covering the different chapters. So up until yesterday, we had Atri Rishi Prabhu covering chapters 9 and 10. So today we'll be covering chapters 11 and 12. And so we're going to make history in which we're getting to Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Hari ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we're getting two of our youth. Of course, this was not uncommon in the early days when Srila Prabhupada attracted all the youth. 16-year-olds were giving classes then. So today we have two of our youth. Kanhaiya, please come up here. Vraja Sundari, where are you? Come up here on the side. So Kanhaiya will give us a synopsis of chapter 11, and Vraja Sundari will give us a synopsis of chapter 12. So these are very wonderful young members of our society, and I know many of you have come here today also for this wonderful birthday celebration that's going to take place, but we'll speak more about that later. Now we want to focus on Kanhaiya, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. It's the first time the youth are doing something like this, and you can't even tell me Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, everybody. So I request all of your blessings, and especially for her, but also me. Please bless us so we can speak some valuable knowledge, and we can make Srila Prabhupada and all the dear devotees happy. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Krishna Arjuna ki. जय वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. Everybody all together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki. So Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna. So yesterday we read chapter 10, and we concluded chapter 10 where Krishna describes his opulences. In text 42 of chapter 10, Lord Krishna states, Atava bahune tena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena stito jagat. But what need is there, Arjun, for all this detailed knowledge with a single fragment of myself pervade and support the entire universe. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. From text 3 of chapter 11, we can understand that Arjuna is convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But for some reason, he still requests the Lord to show us and display his Vishwarup Darshan, or his Virat Rup form, which is the universal form. Arjuna asks for this not for himself, because from text 1 of chapter 11, Arjuna says, Moho yam vigato mama, which means he is freed from illusion. This means that Arjuna, the only reason he is requesting this display of Krishna's universal form is for two main reasons. Firstly, because in the future, in Kali Yuga, this age of hypocrisy and quarrel, humans and all of us living entities, we may not appreciate and realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, if Krishna displays this universal form, it is guaranteed and there is no doubt that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Secondly, by showing this form, it creates a criteria that if any other living entity claims to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if he claims to be the maintainer, the creator, and the destroyer of the world, and he claims to be all-knowing and omnipotent, if he cannot display this Vishwarup Darshan or this Virat Rup or Kal Rup, we can understand that he is bogus and he is not a real incarnation of the Lord. So, from in text 3, Arjuna states, Evam etad yata tatvam atmanam parameshvara drashtum ichchami te rupam eshwaram purushottama. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. This form of Lord Krishna is a temporary material form. But as Vaishnavas, we can understand that the real form or the transcendental form and the spiritual eternal form of the Lord is his two-armed form with a flute in his hand. And this form of Krishna is not easily attainable. Even though Arjuna was only Arjuna, and I think Sanjaya and a few others were able to see this Virat Rup form of Krishna, not many people are able to view and see this divine form, two-armed form of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And the only way we can see and display and see this form of the Lord and take darshan is by unalloyed devotion and kindness and bhakti. Only by bhakti we can take darshan of this form of the Lord. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada states in the last verse of this chapter, everybody please repeat after me. Mat karma. A little bit louder, Hari Bol. Mat karma. Krin mat paramo. Mad bhakta. Sangha varjitaha. Nirveraha. Sarva bhuteshu. Yaha samam. Eti pandava. Word for word, mat karma krit. Everybody, mat karma. Engaged in doing my work. Mat parama. Considering me the supreme. Mad bhaktaha. Engaged in my devotional service. Sangha varjitaha. Freed from the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation. Nirveraha, without an enemy. Sarva Bhuteshu, among all living entities. Yaha, one who. Saha, he, mam, unto me. Eti, comes, Pandava, O son of Pandu. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, 13th Mahajan Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Anyone who wants to approach the supreme of all the personalities of Godhead on the Krishna Lok planet in the spiritual sky and be intimately connected with the supreme personality, Krishna, must take this formula, as stated by the Supreme Himself. Therefore, this verse is considered to be the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a book directed to the conditioned souls who are engaged in the material world with the purpose of lording it over. Sorry, man. Sorry, my English teacher is here too. Please don't. Who are engaged in the material world with the purpose of lording it over nature and who do not know the real spiritual life. The Bhagavad Gita is meant to show how one can understand his spiritual existence and his eternal relationship with the supreme spiritual personality, and to teach one how to go back home, back to Godhead. Now here, in this verse, which clearly explains the process by which one can attain success in his spiritual activity, devotional service. As far as work is concerned, one should transfer his energy entirely to Krishna conscious activities, as stated in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Srila Prabhupada continues, in summary, the universal form of Krishna, which is a temporary manifestation, and the form of time which devours everything, and even the form of Vishnu, four-handed, have all been exhibited by Krishna. Thus, Krishna is the origin of all these manifestations. It is not that Krishna is a manifestation of the original Vishwarup or Vishnu. Krishna is the origin of all forms. There are hundreds and thousands of Vishnu, but for a devotee, no form of Krishna is more important but the original form. Two-handed Shyam Sundar. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that those who are attached to the Shyam Sundar form of Krishna in love and devotion can see him always within the heart and cannot see anything else. One should understand, therefore, that the purport of this 11th chapter is that the form of Krishna is essential and supreme. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. The universal form of the Lord ki jai. So I'm going to hand over to Vraja over here. She was kicking me the whole time. I think I went overtime. I only had 15 minutes. So here is Vraja. Hari bol. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. If there's any questions, then not Smita Krishna Prabhu. I hope Krishna helps you find your answers. Hare Krishna.
It's nothing. It's fine. Yeah. Hey, where are you going now? Stay here. You stay here. Kanhaiya. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharire Nivashesha Shunyvari Bhasyatyari Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. With the blessings of the Vaishnavas all seated here, I will attempt to speak something on chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And this chapter follows closely from chapter 11, which Kanhaiya so beautifully described. Where we were introduced to the divine universal form of the Lord. And here in chapter 12, Arjuna asked Lord Krishna an important question, and that is how to worship him in order to go back home, back to Godhead. And this question is presented to Lord Krishna just so that Arjuna clarifies for himself that he is on the right path. Because Arjuna has a deep connection to the personal form of the Lord. However, as Kanhaiya has also mentioned before, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita is to actually share with us all the deeper meaning of life and how to attain this true happiness. Such a question is essentially not just for Arjuna himself, but for all of us to benefit from. Therefore, we should be so grateful for this conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. And we should be even more grateful to our founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada for giving us the translation to these verses and the purport. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in chapter 11 we know that Kala Rupa was described. And therefore the conversation continues in chapter 12 between the Supreme Lord and Arjuna. And this chapter is separated into 3 different segments or portions. And that's texts 1 to 7, which discusses bhakti, over impersonalism, and then text 8 to 12, which is the stages of one's devotion, and then finally we conclude with text 13 to 20, which talks about the qualities that endear one to Lord Krishna. So now Arjuna inquires which is better, serving the personal form of the Lord or worshipping Krishna's impersonal features. And now Krishna immediately responds in text 12.2 where he says, translation, those who fix their minds upon my personal form are always engaged in worshipping me with the greatest transcendental faith and considered by me to be the most perfect. And here the answer to Arjuna's question is clear and direct, that service to the personal form of the Lord is the best. In text 12.5 he says again, translation, for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in this discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. And so here we find that those who follow the impersonal form of the Lord are called jnana yogis. And those who are always engaged in devotional service to Krishna are called bhakti yogis. Jnana yogis will eventually reach the Lord. But this path will be very difficult, as we've seen in the translation. Lord Krishna actually uses the word troublesome in this verse. And a good example of this that came to my mind is the GPS track on your phone. I'm sure you've all used that sometime or another to get around. And we know that when we type in our destination to this, it actually says searching for the fastest route to your destination, right? You'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. And this route will actually avoid any traffic, any accidents and construction that will slow you down from eventually reaching that destination. And this is just like what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna in this chapter. We always want to take the easy way out. We look at the shortest route that has the best results. And therefore, from over 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna was giving us the fastest route to him. And Arjuna has asked such an important question, which is, which way can we worship you? And this is through the worship of the Acha Vigraha form, which we have already discussed, of the Lord. In this way, we can enjoy the darshan of Radha and Krishna, and Shri Shri Radha Radhanath when the altar opens, and we can engage all our senses in the worship of these deities. And Krishna says the best and most efficient way of service is through bhakti yoga, which I have mentioned before. Then we go on to text 8. And here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes some acts of devotional service. And there are so many acts of devotional service, but for now I'll just go through a few. And one of the ones that I would say is really important to us as devotees is offering food. We all enjoy prasad, right? It's almost supper time, so we're looking forward to that. And when we offer this food, it becomes prasadam. And we take this as our meal. And food is such an integral part of our life, as I said. And once it's prepared as an offering to Krishna, with love and devotion, it becomes a service. And then once we indulge in this prasad, our consciousness immediately becomes cleared. Also, we had chanting of the holy names, which we have just done, and we chant and dance in ecstasy. And this too is an act of devotional service. Then we come to the middle part of this chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the yoga ladder. And here Lord Krishna is so kind to break it down into simple steps of how we can live our lives to serve him. He is so kind to offer us the best, the perfect, and the easiest way to reach him. But that is through bhakti yoga. And here he says if we cannot follow that path, then we still too can attain this eternal home, which is Vaikuntha. But it will just be a bit more difficult, and it will take longer, and it will be more troublesome, as I've said before. So the best way is bhakti yoga. In text 11, the Lord continues to say, and this is translation, if however you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try giving up all the results of your work and be self-situated. And this is called punya, when one gives the results of their hard-earned work. And it is simply put to offer charity, to work in hospitals, serve the underprivileged, all engaging in community service. And through these acts of punya, one will gradually reach the path of devotional service someday, but not anytime soon, because we know that the primary form of devotional service is through bhakti yoga, as I've said before. And then finally, we've reached the final portion of this chapter, which is texts 13 to 20, where Lord Krishna describes the qualities of one that endear to him. And as I said before, there's so many good qualities of a devotee that we all wish to embody. So I'll just go through a few of them. And then in text 13 and 14, in summary, the Lord says that a pure devotee shall not be envious of anyone, should not be disturbed by any circumstances, and should not have any enemies. And here this phenomenon is called nirmama, where a devotee does not attach importance to the pains and the troubles attaining in this material world. Once again, in text 15, the Lord describes that someone should be equipoised, not to be disturbed in sadness, and not to be overly thrilled in happiness. And one should know that one is nothing without the other, happiness and sadness. And this is known as samadhuka sukha. And in text 20, the Lord culminates by saying, those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who is completely engaged themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. So now we should know that Krishna doesn't bless the loudest service, but he blesses the most consistent service with a heart free of ego. And an example of this, I was actually doing some research to find a good practical example of this. And this is the bamboo tree that grows in China, and it feels like I'm giving a science lesson here or something. But you should know that when you plant the seed of this tree, you may continually water it for up to 5 years, but the seed will not grow. You may think the seed is dead, but on the 5th year, this bamboo will sprout 27 meters in the span of 6 weeks. And this is exactly like bhakti. The question is that did it really grow in 6 weeks, or did it take all that time to develop? It actually took all of that time to develop. So you may not see the progress of your devotional service, but every small act of devotional service towards the Lord is actually growth. And to conclude, I've been so inspired by the devotional service of so many devotees around me, but especially from the poetry of Smita Krishna Prabhu, which he so beautifully presents. So I actually found a poem on this verse which summarizes everything that I've spoken to you about. And this is by Mahatma Prabhu, which is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And I thought it's a short poem. I'd like to share it with you. So Mahatma Prabhu wrote, Arjuna asked, text 1, I want to know what is best of these two, those always engaged in service to you, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested, unknowable one? And then Lord Krishna answers, text 2, one who is fixed on my personality and is always engaged in worshipping me, with great and transcendent faith in the goal, I consider to be the most perfect soul. Text 3. But those who worship me as the impersonal, as the unchanging, fixed, immovable, who are self-controlled and treat all equally, after many births will surrender to me. Text 5. For those who want to realize the Supreme as impersonal and formless, not shown, not seen, they will be troubled to achieve this goal, and this path will be hard for the embodied soul. Text 6 and 7. But those who worship me, giving up all their fruits, devoted to me without any other pursuits, thinking of me and serving with devotion, I swiftly deliver from the birth and death ocean. Text 8 and 9. Fix your mind upon me, the Lord of all that be. Thus, without a doubt, you will always live in me. But if you can't think of me without devotion, then practice devotion in every situation. Text 10 and 11. If this cannot be done, then just work for me. In this way, perfection will become gradually. But if you can't work as I've described, work for a good cause and be satisfied. Text 13. One who is a friend to every entity, who is not envious and from false ego is free, who sees joy and pain with an equal eye, who is tolerant and always satisfied. Text 14. Who is self-controlled and serves with devotion, whose determination is as deep as the ocean, whose mind is fixed and intelligence is clear, to me a devotee is very dear. Text 15. To others he is never troublesome and is never disturbed by anyone. He is equal in anxiety and fear. To such a devotee is very dear. Text 16. My devotee can live with more or less. He has no cares and free from all distress. He is renounced in all activities. Such a devotee is very dear to me. Text 17. One who neither rejoices or grieves, nor laments or desires, or has any needs, who the good or bad affect equally, such a devotee is very dear to me. Text 18 and 19. One who is equal to enemies and friends, always satisfied with whatever God sends, self-control in both fame and infirmity, such person is very dear to me. And finally, text 20. Those who follow this devotional path, which has always existed and always last, who engages in faith, making me the goal, are very, very dear to me, and this you should know. So I hope that summarized the chapter for everyone. And thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak. And yes, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Haribol.
I'm feeling very embarrassed now. She should have done chapter 11 and chapter 12, sorry.
Both of them did so well. Let's give them a round of applause. I'm especially proud to be part of this history in making here at Sri Sri Radha Radhanath, with getting them to engage in the Gita Jayanti week, which we have created. And I think they cover the essence of both of these chapters very, very well. Both of them have just finished matric, and like some of you have done. And in their schools, they are quite well renowned as devotees. I know Kanhaiya, he is not shy to present his Krishna consciousness. We have seen some videos of him doing some mantras in the assembly and all of that. So this is the bravery and courage we need. And Vraja Sundari, I think she's been chairing the Hindu Students Association as well in your school. And she took every opportunity to present Bhagavad Gita. I think they do this valediction and so on. And so she spoke the entire thing on Bhagavad Gita there. I also saw that video. So it's very heartwarming to know that in the next generation of devotees, it is in safe hands. So please give them a round of applause again. And they say out of the mouth of babes comes the truth, but they're not babes anymore now. 18 years today, Kanhaiya, and Vraja Sundari is going to be 18 tomorrow. So that's why I got both of them here to share this platform, right? And we also want to thank all of you. It's raining a bit, but we're going to be assembling at the tent at the bottom as we go out. And if you haven't been here, it's down the ramp and to your left, the main tent there. And then we're going to continue with the birthday activities in that tent. Rishi Prabhu, you'd like to say something to all your guests?
Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm really excited to see so many faces here at Sri Sri Radharanath Mandir. We thank you all very much for attending, and we pray that Krishna and Srimati Radharani showers each one of you with his richest blessings. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So I just want to add that generally on youngsters' birthdays, they may be somewhere else, doing something else. But these two were absorbed in Bhagavad Gita the whole day, preparing for this. Was a little transcendental trick, but they were very busy. I saw Kanhaiya sitting around with his notes on the table there and so on. So it's very, very wonderful to have that. Okay, these are our children and we're very proud. Thank you. So we will assemble at the bottom. All right. So before you go, it would be neglectful of me not to introduce to you His Grace Ramanuja Acharya Prabhu. For those of you who have not met, he is a senior disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And he's got Kanhaiya has endeared himself to Ramanuja Acharya Prabhu, so he will also be speaking to us something about his interaction and about Kanhaiya at the bottom. So maybe rise and then go down to the tent on the side, and we'll continue there. It's also appropriate to go down there because that's where the tables are laid out for prasad. Thank you so much to two of you. Hare Krishna.